Hello, and happy Halloween, everybody! I'm Toshio, and welcome back to my castle. This is the final Halloween stream tonight. I'm so excited to tell you some spooky stories. Three are from Europe, three others are from East Asia. Most of them are urban legends because, well, unfortunately and sadly, I had no return after I asked people if they got stories to share. So, plan B, I guess, plan bear. So I will start with the Wild Hunt legend, since I was unfamiliar with that story. Besides, I keep seeing references from many games like Witcher 3 called Wild Hunt, or very recently Genshin Impact. So today I did learn about what the Wild Hunt is. uh, so, what's the Wild Hunt? Where did this legend come from? It's a folklore story in northern, western, and eastern Europe. It could be found in pagan religions from the Celts, the Germans, and other Slavs. The Wild Hunt, as its name suggests, is a chase led by a legendary figure, often associated with the god Odin, or Wotan in German, accompanied by mountain hunters howling. These hunters can be elves, fairies, or damned souls. The legend is linked to natural phenomena such as night storms and powerful winds that are simulated the coming of the mountain hunters and packs of dogs. Witnesses describe a procession of armored riders, howling sounds, greenish torches, and a cold wind. Those who see it don't boast about it for long though. It is said to appear at the borders of a world of the living, like between 2 days or between 2 seasons. It is also said that their appearance is a bad sign, as it precedes catastrophe like war or plague, or at best the death of the ones who witnessed it. In some versions, people who encounter the hunt might be abducted to the underworld. In others, it is believed that people's spirits could be pulled away during their sleep to join the hunt, for the hunt cannot bear to be watched. So that was the first story about the Wild Hunt. Let's move on to the second story, a scary story loosely inspired from a French novel, but I adapted it in modern style. So, I don't have any image for that. So, I'm gonna switch there. Okay, here we go. So let's say the narrator the person is John. It's about John. So John was living in a Parisian apartment when he started to notice strange things around him. Nothing too alarming first. Just a light on when he woke up. An open door while he remembered he had shut it. Some details. As such, he thought it was a mistake or a distraction. Even thought about an intruder inside his apartment. So he set up cameras, a motion detector, some surveillance applications on his smartphone, and then it gets real spooky. Each morning, he discovered that something was passing in front of the cameras, but without being much visible. The detectors went off, but the image was empty. The atmosphere was getting colder and colder. Objects were slightly moving, as if some invisible presence pushed them. And John stopped sleeping as he was constantly checking the recordings. Each view he thought he spotted a blood shade, and it seemed like this shade was staring at the screen. Hello, random returner. Hi, how are you? How's up, bro? Hello, how are you doing? You just missed the first story, but there are 5 others left. You didn't miss much. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue. John talked to a friend about these events, and his friend advised him to turn his Wi-Fi off. But once John cut his internet off, it got worse. Lights were shutting down on their own. His PC was booting itself. At some point, he even saw an unknown IP connected to his own home. Soon John understood. This spirit does not need a body. It just feeds on the attention it gets. Each time his story is told, and each time someone watches such video, it gets stronger. And maybe, who knows, from listening that story to its end, maybe you just invited that spirit home. Yeah, that was... I wrote that story, but I adapted it to a French novel, like I said. Actually, it's Le Horla from Guy de Maupassant. Very intriguing story about a man getting crazy, getting mad because he thinks that some spirit is hunting him down. So yeah, so I adapted it in modern style with modern equipment such as smartphones, internet, etc., etc. Now let's move on to the first story. This story is loosely inspired from the Black Monk of Pontefract, but I wrote this time in first person. I've been urban exploring for 5 years. I have visited hospitals, tunnels, mansions, yet this abbey in Pontefract, England, that was different. As soon as I reached the gate, I felt the atmosphere changed. It was cold, very cold. The place is known for its legend, that of a black monk beheaded in the 16th century. It is believed that he still haunts the corridors as he seeks the room where his abbot hid his head. So I was all alone, holding my flashlight, having my cam on the chest. The old ground was creaking. With each step, I could hear the echo becoming louder and louder, as if someone else was walking beside me. In the nave, I noticed a nearly erased Latin inscription on the wall, saying, I translated, "He looks for his head." I wanted to film it closer, but suddenly my flashlight flickered, and from the trembling light, I saw a figure wearing a black monk dress. It had no face, no head. The hood was just empty. I took a step back. My microphone captured the noise, a scraping against the stone just next to me. Then a short, choppy breath. I ran away. Once I saw the recordings later on, one thing chilled me to the bone. Just before the flashlight turned off, there was a shape on the ground, against the wall. A head placed askew, and a figure bent towards it. That's the end of the story. Yeah, so tell me what you think. You can tell me what you think. So what was it for the the European stories, I mean, and we're gonna move on to with the Eastern urban legends this time. So 3 more stories left. The first Eastern story is a quite short legend about Kuchisake-onna, literally slit-mouthed woman. It is said that a few centuries ago, Kuchisake-onna was a very beautiful woman. She married a samurai, but one day she cheated on him, cuckolded and dishonored. He angrily assaulted her, then slit her mouth until her ears, then asked her, "Who will find you pretty now?" Nowadays, she wanders at night, or during foggy afternoons, or in the dark forests. Her mouth is hidden by a surgery mask, which is a common thing in Japan. When she meets someone, often children, she shyly asks them, "Am I pretty?" If a person answers no, she instantly kills them using scissors. If they say yes, then she removes her mask and reveals her slit mouth and asks again, "Am I still pretty now?" If a victim says no, she kills them. But if they say yes, then Kuchisake-onna will slit their mouth just like her. I got so scared that I now clipped into the back rooms. 10 out of 10 scary stories still in the back rooms though. Which one scared you, Kuchisake-onna, or the previous one? About the monk, or the spirit, the French spirit. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, so it sounds like you are doomed either way. Whether you say yes or no, something bad happens. Oh, the previous one. So the black monk, about the headless monk. Okay, got it. Yes, what like I said, it sounds like you're doomed either way, but there are ways out. I mean, you can answer so, or you outrage. Both will confuse, either of them will confuse her, and you will have enough time to run away from her. You can also return the question by asking, "What about me? Am I pretty?" This will confuse her to the point that she may leave on her own. Alternatively, you can offer candies or other treats. That works too. Just like the children on Halloween who say tricks or treats. So offering candies is always a great option. Yeah. So what was Kuchisake-onna? The second Japanese story is quite longer. It is about Hachishakusama, 8 feet tall, aka the Japanese Slenderman, but actually a woman. This is a Japanese urban legend about a very tall woman who kidnaps children and possibly kills them. Like her name suggests, she's 8 feet tall. She wears a white dress and a straw hat and makes a sound like po, 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 po. I just forgot about the images. So I'm a bit too late, but this is Kuchisake-onna. This is one depiction of her, slit-mouthed woman. And now Hachishakusama. So 8 feet tall lady. There's a story about an 8-year-old boy who usually visited his grandparents from Japan on holiday. They lived in a small village and they had a big backyard. They loved their grandson, and as is their only grandchild, they spoiled him. One summer, his parents booked a flight to Japan. They all drove to their grandparents' house. The grandparents were glad to see their grandson and a lot of presents to give him. After a few days, his parents took a trip to another part of Japan, since they wanted to enjoy some time by themselves, so they left the boy in the care of his grandparents. One day, the boy was playing in the backyard. It was a hot summer's day, so his grandparents were inside and he was laying down on the grass to rest. He was enjoying the gentle breeze and the feeling of the soft rays of the sun. As he was about to get up, he heard a weird sound like po, 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 po. He was wondering what the sound was and mostly where it was coming from. It sounded like somebody was making that noise, as if they were saying po, 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 in a deep masculine voice. So the boy looked around. He was looking for the source of the noise. Then he noticed something on top of the tall edges. A straw hat, but it wasn't resting on the hedge. It was behind. The sound definitely came from this location. The hat suddenly moved, as if someone was wearing it. The hat stopped at a small gap, and the boy could see a face peering through. That was a woman. But here's the thing. The edges were very high, almost 8 feet tall, so the boy was surprised at how tall that woman was. He wondered if she was wearing stilts or some sort of very high-heeled shoes. A split second later, she walked off, and the noise, po, 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 disappeared with her, fading slowly into the distance. The boy got up and came back into the house. His grandparents were drinking tea in the kitchen. He sat down at the table, and after a while he told them about that woman he had seen. They weren't really paying attention until he mentioned that one sound, po, 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 po. Once he said that, both suddenly froze with scared looks. His grandpa grabbed him by the arm and asked him with a very serious voice how tall she was. The boy replied she was as tall as the hedge. Then his grandpa bombarded him with questions like, when did this happen? Where was she standing? Did she see you? What did you do? Etc. He tried to answer all these questions as best as possible. Then the grandpa sprinted to the hallway and made a phone call. The boy could not hear what he was saying on phone. He looked at his grandma and she was trembling. When the grandpa came back into the room, he asked his wife to look after their grandson because he had to go out. Don't take your eyes off him for a second, he insisted. The boy began to cry. What's going on, Grandpa? He then looked at him with a sad look and answered, You've been liked by Hachishakusama. But who's Hachishakusama? His grandpa told him not to worry. Grandpa would do something anyway. And while he was away, she told her grandson about the story of Hachishakusama. A dangerous thing was haunting the area. They called it Hachishakusama because of its height. It takes on the appearance of a very tall woman and makes a deep sound, po, 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 po. It can look slightly different depending on who sees it. For some it looks like an old hag in a kimono dress. For others it looks like a girl in a white kimono dress. In a white funeral shroud, sorry about that. But the constant thing is its height and the sound. A long time ago, monks captured it, then confined it in a ruined building on the outskirts of the village. There it was trapped by 4 small religious statues named Jesus, placed by the monks at the north, south, east and west of the ruins. Sorry, just catching my breath. It wasn't supposed to be able to escape, but somehow it did. The last time it appeared was 15 years ago. The boy's grandma said that anyone who saw Hachishakusama was doomed to die within a few days. He wasn't sure what to believe because of how crazy that whole tale sounded. His grandpa came back. He brought along an old woman. She introduced herself as Kei-san and gave the boy a small piece of parchment, telling him to hold it. Afterwards, she and the grandpa went upstairs to protect the boy's bedroom. At the same time, he needed to go to the bathroom. The boy needed to go to the bathroom, so her grandma accompanied him and wouldn't let him shut the door. The boy started to get really frightened. After some time, the grandpa and Kei-san brought the boy into his bedroom. He noticed that the windows were covered in newspaper and lots of ancient. 'ancient runes had been written on them. The boy started to get really frightened. After some time, the grandpa and Kei-san brought the boy into his bedroom. He noticed that the windows were covered in newspaper and lots of ancient runes had been written on them. The boy started to get really frightened. After some time, the grandpa and Kei-san brought the boy into his bedroom. He noticed that the windows were covered in newspaper and lots of ancient runes had been written on them. Some balls of salt had been placed in all four corners of the room, and a small Buddha statue was placed at the center on top of a wooden box. A bucket was there too, for the boy's needs. Kei-san sat the boy down on the bed and gave him instructions. He had to remain in his room until the next morning. She told him not to come out under any circumstances until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. His grandparents would not speak to him or call him until then. They would still inform his parents about this. The boy nodded quietly. Grandpa added this to his grandson, to lock his door once they left. And if anything happened, then he should pray to Buddha. So once they left, he locked the door. He turned on the TV and tried to watch, but he was so nervous he couldn't focus. He lied down on his bed. He wasn't even able to eat the snacks and rice that his grandma left him. He felt like he was in prison. He was so scared. After a while, he fell asleep. After 1 a.m., something was tapping on the window. He woke up, frightened. He tried to calm himself down, calm himself down, telling himself that it was just the wind of the branches of a tree. He turned up the volume of the TV to drown out the tapping noise. Eventually he stopped, but then he heard his grandpa calling him. "Are you okay in there? If you're scared, you don't have to stay in there all alone. I can come and keep you company." He smiled. The boy smiled and rushed towards his door. He was about to open when he found something soft. It sounded like Grandpa's voice, but it was somehow different. He just felt like it. "What are you doing?" Grandpa asked. "You can open the door now." The boy looked to the left and he noticed that the salt in the balls were turning black. He backed away from the door. He was trembling with fear. He fell to his knees before the Buddha statue and held tight the piece of parchment. He started to pray for help. Then he heard the voice from the door saying, "Po, po, 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 po." The tapping on the window started again. He was so afraid, half crying, and half praying for the rest of the night. He felt like it would never end. But eventually, morning came. The salt in the balls was pitch black. The boy checked his watch. 7:30 a.m. He cautiously opened the door of his bedroom. His grandma and Kei-san were just outside, waiting for him. Grandma burst into tears. She was so glad that he was still alive. He went downstairs, and he was surprised to see his father and mother sitting in the kitchen. Grandpa came in and exclaimed, "Hurry up! We've got to get going!" They went to the front door, and outside there was a large black van. Several men were standing around it. Sorry about that. The van was a 9-seater, and so they put the boy in the middle, surrounded by 8 men. Kei-san was driving. The man on the boy's left advised him to keep his head down and his eyes shut. They couldn't see Hachishakusama, but he could. "Don't open your eyes until we've got you safely out of here." When everyone was ready, the convoy started moving. They were going very slow, around 20 kilometers per hour, maybe less. After a while, Kei-san started muttering a prayer under her breath. Then the boy heard the voice. "Bo, bo, 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 bo." He held the parchment tightly. He kept his head down, but he peeked outside. He briefly saw a white dress fluttering in the breeze, moving along with the van. That was Hachishakusama. She was outside the window, but she was keeping pace with them. Then suddenly she bent down and peered into the van. The boy shouted, "No!" The man beside him shouted in turn, "Close your eyes!" The boy immediately shut his eyes as hard as he could and tightened his grip on the piece of parchment. Then the tapping began. The voice became louder. "Bo, bo, bo, bo." The windows all around them tapped. All the men in the van were startled, muttering nervously to themselves. They couldn't see it, nor hear the voice, but they could hear the tapping on the windows. Kei-san was praying louder and louder until she was almost shouting. The tension inside the van was unbearable. Pun intended. After a while, the tapping stopped, and the voice disappeared. Kei-san looked back at them and said, "I think we're safe now." All of the men around the boy breathed a sigh of relief. The van pulled over to the side of the road, and the men got out. They transferred him to his dad's car. His mother held him close, crying. His grandpa and his father both bowed to the men, and they went on their way. Kei-san asked the boy to show the piece of parchment. When he opened in his hand, it had gone completely black. "I think you will be okay now," she said. "But just to be sure, hold on to this for a while." She handed him a new piece of parchment. After that, they drove straight to the airport, and his grandpa saw them safely on the plane. When they took off, his parents breathed a sigh of relief. His father then told his son that he had heard about Hachishakusama before. Years ago, his friend had been liked by her. The boy disappeared, never to be seen again. His father said him there were other people who had been liked by her and lived to tell about it. They all had to leave Japan and settle down in another country. They were never able to go back to their homeland. She always chooses children as her victims because children are dependent of their parents and family members, so this makes them easier to deceive when she poses as their relatives. His father added that the men in the van were all blood relatives. That's why they had been sitting all around the boy. It was to confuse Hachishakusama. It took a while to contact everyone and get them all together so that It was why he had to be confined in room all night. He told him that one of the little Jesus statues, the ones that were meant to keep her trapped, had been broken, and that was how she escaped. More than 10 years later, the boy, now a man, had not seen his grandparents since. He wasn't able to return to Japan, though he could call them every few weeks and talk to them from phone. Over the years, he tried to convince himself that it was just some genius prank, but sometimes he felt he wasn't so sure. One day, his grandfather passed away. For some reasons, he left strict instructions in his will that his grandson wasn't to attend his funeral. 2 years later, his grandma called him. She said that she was diagnosed with cancer and she missed him terribly. So she wanted to see him one last time before she died. His grandson asked, "Are you sure, Grandma? Is it safe?" She replied, "It's been 10 years. All that happened a long time ago. I'm sure there won't be a problem." He then asked, But what about Hachishakusama?" For a moment, there was a silence on the other end of the phone, and then suddenly he heard a deep masculine voice saying, "Po, po, po, po." And that's the story of Hachishakusama. Hachishakusama, yeah. Now we reached the final story that I have, the sixth one, which comes from Japan and Korea. It is the elevator ritual, or the elevator game. But what is the elevator game? The elevator game comes from Korea and Japan, as I said. So this ritual is to be followed step by step. If you miss one step, or if the rules are not met, it just fails and you have to do it again. But it is believed by some to blur the lines of reality. But how exactly to play it? As I said, you need to follow many steps to playing and surviving the elevator ritual. You have to follow them precisely and in the exact order. Of course, you must play it alone. If you with a friend, it just doesn't work. You have to be alone. Then the elevator must be in a building with a minimum of 10 floors. So yeah, preferably play it at night, because no one must enter or exit the elevator beside you, except at some part. I'm gonna talk about it further. So about the steps. The first step is to enter the elevator from the first floor. And don't exit until the last step, or you have to start all over. Remember, no one must enter it, or you have to start over, with the one exception that I already mentioned. Step 2. Follow the following sequence: 4, 2, 6, 10, 5. Just let me write it so you can see it. I should have done that, so you can have a visual. So yeah, the following sequence. So The following order: 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5. Alright. And again, don't exit at any point or you have to start over. Now, step 3, the exception is happening at this point, because when you reach the 5th floor, a mysterious woman may enter the elevator. It is said, do not look at her, do not answer or interact with her whatsoever, or the consequences may include the inability to return to the real world. Step 4, now push the button for the first floor. So yeah, I should add the number 1. So the full sequence is that 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, 1. But instead of going to 1, it can raise the elevator can raise. If the elevator normally reaches the first floor, exit immediately and do not look back or talk to anyone. But if you succeed the ritual, the elevator might instead go up to the 10th floor. It is taking you to the overworld. Once you reach the 10th floor, exit the elevator without looking back. The woman may ask you a question like, "Where are you going?" Do not answer. Just keep ignoring her and wait until the door of the elevator closes. Congratulations, you've reached the overworld. But what does this overworld look like? As you can see from the image I just included, it is pretty much like the real world, except there is no light. It's very dark. There is no network, the devices don't work well either. There is only you, or so it seems. The sky is always dark too. The only light you can see is a faint red cross in the distance. Some crazy things may happen. You may lose consciousness. Do not let your sanity drop, or you might never be able to go back to the real world. The overworld wants to claim you. So, how to go back before it's too late, you might ask? You must reach the exact same elevator you came out. It won't work if you take another one. It must be the one you took earlier. But the overworld may alter your perceptions and make you see mirages. Like the trip to the overworld, the journey back into the real world has several steps you need to follow precisely. Here they are. Step 1. Once you enter the same elevator again, move from floor to floor in exactly the same sequence you did originally. So 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5. And after the 5th floor, so if this is step 2, press the button to the first floor, just like the other way. Step 3. If the elevator goes up again, quickly press the button for any other floor before you reach the 10th floor. The overworld is trying to claim you, so it wants to lure you back in. Just press any button and abort the ascension, and then it will go down to the first floor. Final step. Exit the elevator, but make sure that nothing is off outside. You should see the lights again in a normal sky. Now I told you about the rules of this game. This game is quite kinda linked to a mysterious case. I'm talking about the mysterious case of Eliza Lam. Eliza Lam was a girl staying at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, but her parents became concerned when they didn't hear from her, so they notified the authorities, and an investigation ensued. Police couldn't find any trace of Eliza, except for a creepy video of her behaving strangely in the hotel's elevator. I'm gonna remove the text. Lam is seen stepping into Eliza as a girl saying since stepping sorry I'm begging so she's seen stepping into and out of the elevator several times, seemingly talking to someone who wasn't there, frantically pushing many of the elevator buttons, making gestures and looking around as if she was paranoid. Through all of this, the elevator stayed in place and its doors never closed. After Eliza's body was discovered dead in a water tank on the hotel's roof, there were lots of theories. It is known that since its 1927 opening, the Cecil Hotel has been the site of many tragic events. So, is this hotel haunted or cursed? Was Eliza experiencing some kind of psychotic episode? Was there someone nearby but not captured by the security camera? Or else was she just playing the elevator game? We may never know. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this special live. Feel free to share which story you liked most. I'm quite sad that I must leave this appearance behind. I enjoyed to be a vampire boy. So, thank you for watching. I hope it was entertaining and spooky for you. And I will see you peeps for another video. So take care and bye bye.